Perennial powerhouses Katy and Northshore made it a clean sweep for the Houston area when they won championships at the Division I and II levels. Both are considered by many to be on a short list of potential winners this year. The kicker is that Katy will move to Division I for the first time ever. Each of their previous championships have all come in Division II. They'll be looking to replace a good amount of production at the tailback position, where Kyle Porter has graduated and moved on to Texas. Senior Kadarius Page and sophomore DeAndre Glass will share the load, and between them should have the vaunted Tiger rushing attack hitting on all 8 cylinders. Defensively, they traditionally field a strong front seven. Last year's group was arguably their best ever, but several key contributors will be back. Corey Bethley returns as a team leader in tackles and sacks with 62 and 16 respectively. With 8 state championships, Katy is respected statewide as a perennial contender, and this year will be no different. Northshore is always a contender as well, and with 8 returning starters, they figure to be in the hunt once again this year. The Mustangs take a lot of pride on playing sound defense, and with senior defensive end Clavon Chasen leading the way, they'll be a force to be reckoned with once again. Chasen won MVP honors with a dominating performance in last year's state championship win over Westlake, finishing with 21 sacks. On the offensive side of the ball, standout receiver Brian Beatty moves from receiver to quarterback. His production will be missed at receiver as he caught 13 touchdown passes, but they'll still have Elroy Potts, who caught 46 passes last season, to help move the chains. With Northshore and Katy both in Division I, these two powerhouses will likely meet up in the playoffs in what should be an outstanding showdown of defending state champions.
It means the world, I think more than anything, just the fact that, I want people to recognize the David Amon plan and the success that it's had. And I think sometimes he set the bar so high that it gets overlooked. When we are 12-1, which is a pretty good season, but the way that he set that bar, it's one of those things that we're still doing his blueprint, like I said before, and I couldn't be prouder for the community, and I know that he's going to be proud that it still works.
George Ranch is coming off a perfect 16-0 season, capped by a dominating 52-0 shutout of Mansfield Lake Ridge in the state championship last season. Moving from 5A to 6A will likely make it difficult to repeat, but the Longhorns will be a formidable opponent as they return some talented experience at key positions. It all starts with senior quarterback Antonio Jackson. Last season, Jackson led an explosive offense that averaged more than 40 points a game. Defensively, the Longhorns returned SMU commit Toby Duquay. Last season, he was unblockable at times and a fixture in opponents' backfields, earning all district honors. As the newest members of 23-6A, they'll challenge Pearland for the district title. Speaking of Pearland, the Oilers are a team that needs no introduction. Head coach Tony Heath always has his group ready to play and typically make a deep run in the playoffs. It's been 6 years since their last state title, but with 11 starters returning, they'll be a tough out when the postseason arrives. Oiler fans are hopeful and optimistic, thanks in part to the return of quarterback Connor Blumrick. He's coming off an impressive junior season in which he threw for 1,400 yards and 12 touchdowns. Senior tailback Davier Pinkston will give Pearland great balance as the focal point of the ground attack as he returns as the team's leading rusher. Dickinson ended Pearland's season early a year ago with a 26-23 upset. The Gators graduated 37 lettermen from that team, but will have some talented new faces ready to pick up where last year's team left off. Improving upon a 12-2 record and a run to the 4th round of the playoffs will be difficult, but a strong defensive group should allow the newcomers on offense time to find their rhythm. It was 2003 when the Woodlands last hoisted a state trophy, but the Highlanders come into this season with some good momentum after winning the 7-on-7 state championship earlier this summer at College Station. Senior quarterback Eric Schmidt returns to lead the way after accounting for more than 1,000 all-purpose yards in a season that was cut short by injuries. The coach's son will give the Woodlands valuable experience and leadership as they rebuild the defense that lost 6 talented starters to graduation. For head coach Mark Schmidt, it's a time that he's looked forward to for a long time.
It's special, you know. Eric has been on my sideline since he was 5 years old, you know, as a ball boy, and you know, he can still remember every player and their number all through the years, much better than I can. And so, you know, he's been a Highlander since he was 5, and he's excited about this last year as a senior, and to be able to be on the field under the Friday night lights. And you know, my wife and I were excited too, and we're looking forward to it.
The Westfield Mustangs graduated one of the most talented classes in recent history, but over the years, they've shown the ability to reload. Head coach Matt Meekins will have a lot of new faces on both sides of the football, but at least he'll have the luxury of 3 talented skill players returning. Wideouts Jalen Garrett, Ollie Walker, and senior tailback Daniel Young all return as scoring threats. Young is a talented back who ran for 725 yards and 8 touchdowns. Replacing Arizona State commit Dylan Sterling Cole will be the tallest order, but whoever wins the job will have plenty of weapons to work with. Much like Westfield, Klein Collins traditionally finds a way to reload, and this year should be no exception. Replacing the dynamic playmaking abilities of Justin Pratt will be a major challenge, but senior receiver Quentin Newton gives the Tigers a great place to start. He returns as the leading receiver, catching 25 passes for 384 yards and 4 touchdowns a year ago.